So Shea and I first met at USD. We were both student athletes there. He played football and I ran track and field. And the cool thing about the Dome is all the athletes are working out together pretty much. And so I remember always checking him out at the end of practice. Me and my girlfriends would be down there stretching and trying to make our stretches look good as the football boys walked by.
And it was always mutual for us as well, because, you know, like we always passed each other, but we never really talked to each other. It was like, you know, there's some good looking girls, but, you know, they're doing their thing, and we were trying to leave the Dome at the time, so we were probably never stopped and talked to them to get to know them.
Yeah, but we both partied a lot downtown, but we had separate bars of choice until graduation night. We were all down at Leo's, and I was hanging out with my track girlfriends, and Shea was at the bar with his football guys, and my mom had known Shea because she knew his parents from college. And I remember seeing her going up and talking to him, and I turned to my friend Natalie and was like, what is my mom doing? And next thing I know, Shea shows up over at our table.
Yeah, and so Lynn came up to me at the bar, and the first thing she said to me was, do you know who I am? And I was like, no, I have no idea who you are. Like, you know, like some random lady comes up to me at the bar. And so I think we proceeded to take a few shots, and she wanted to introduce me to Alexa, and she takes me over, and we finally got to formally meet for the first time, and chatted it out a little bit, but that was about all that really happened that night.
Yeah, but it was a good night for Shea. Broke up with his girlfriend, went to jail, met his wife, and graduated.
All within a day's work.
And then we didn't talk until Shea sent me an email after my conference track meet, and it was just a short email, and I sent him something back, and he never responded to me.
Yeah, I think, you know, she was somebody I always wanted to get to know, and I had just broken up with my girlfriend after graduation, so I tried to like reach out to her, but I think I was just a little shy and nervous at the time because, you know, she had so many things going for her. She was a great athlete and a great student, and was going back to get her MBA and then on to med school, so I thought that she was a little out of my league at the time.
Oh, Shea. Yeah, and so then we ran into each other. Well, I ran into his brother, Jimmy, at Dakota Days. I didn't know him, but my girlfriends that I was tailgating with did, and Jimmy convinced me into drunk dialing Shea at 10 o'clock in the morning just to find out that he had passed out already.
It was my first Dakota Days not as a player, so I think that I had really taken it in the night before and probably was still sleeping from the night before, so I wasn't up for all the festivities.
So I left him a great message, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a great message for me, you know, though, because that's kind of how I got started. You know, I started to text and call her shortly after that. And
well, yeah, he sent me a Facebook message that was literally like this long, too long for Facebook, and trying to explain like why he didn't answer my phone call and why he felt so bad about it and how he wished we would hang out.
Yeah, I just felt terrible about the whole circumstance, you know, everything that had happened. And, you know, if it wasn't for Alexa, we probably would have never hung out either, because I never really pushed forward to try to hang out with her until one night she told me to just come pick her up and we'd go drive around and talk.
And that's when it all started.
Yep.
So our first real date was in Sioux Falls, and the night we had planned for actually ended up being a huge blizzard, so my mom was super nervous to have Shea driving me around and was calling and texting us to make sure that he was safe with his precious cargo.
Yeah.
And anyways, we made it to Sioux Falls and had a wonderful dinner and went out for beers afterwards. And it was the most beautiful night. The snowflakes were just huge, and it was just a really light snowfall. And we went out in the middle of the street and had a nice makeout session.
I think, you know, the first thing obviously is her beauty. You know, Alexa's so beautiful, and that's what initially attracted me to her. But you know, I've never met anyone that was more kind and caring and concerned about myself. You know, I need a lot of I need a lot of help to get through most of my days, and Alexa's always there for me. So, you know, I think just, you know, everyone always says, like, when you find the right person, you know, like, you'll know. And when I met Alexa for the first time, you know, like, for some reason I knew that she was the person I always wanted to be with and the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And I think the first time that she told me that she loved me in the basement of my old house was when I knew that we were going to spend forever together.
Oh, there's so many things I love about him. I think the one thing that really sticks out, though, is that he brings so much balance to my life. And I feel like a lot of the time I'm so caught up in like medical school and all the crazy things that come with it. And he just always helps me refocus on the things that matter in life and helps me recognize that there's so much to be said of simplicity. So for the proposal,
well, I had planned to get engaged to her. You know, I think I bought the ring like in August, and I had planned to get engaged to her. I didn't really know when, I just knew I wanted to do it soon. And so her sister had come down to Phoenix for Halloween, and after she had been there for the weekend and we enjoyed everything, I kind of had something in mind. And
so anyways, we dropped my sister off at the airport on Sunday, and since I hadn't studied all weekend, I told Shea, you know, I'm not going to see you the rest of today. I've got a lot of studying to do, so see you on Monday maybe. And then I was hungry and looking through my apartment for any food and didn't have any, so I texted Shea and said, hey, will you go pick me up some groceries? You can drop them off at this time and say hi.
Yeah, I only had a certain time slot that I was allotted to be around, because with her studying for med school and all the craziness from the weekend, I was not allowed.
And so Shea came over and had all the groceries in his hand, and he also had a gift. And I remember being like, what's that for? Like, what? He was like, oh, we've been together 2 years. And I was like, oh, great, I forgot something else. And I went and opened it up, and it was this really pretty light pink coat. And she's like, well, why don't you put it on? Because I was too busy just looking at it, and stuck my arm in the sleeve, and there was a little box that came out.
And I caught the box in my hand, and I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me. And I didn't really get a response. It was such, you know, so much shock going through her head, I think, at the time, that it took her like, you know, 15, 20 minutes to come to actually say yes.
I don't get surprised very often, so.
But yeah, she eventually said yes, and we went and got a bottle of champagne and celebrated, and then we went out for a nice dinner downtown where we'd gone on.
Actually, our first date in Phoenix.
Yeah, we went on our first date in Phoenix.
I think the other thing is that Shea has really taught me how to love in a way that I didn't understand before, because he's literally given up so much of his life to come and be with me and make sure that I'm able to reach all of my goals too. And for someone to do something like that just means the world.
And how I just want to talk about how much fun we have. Like, you know, we don't have to try to have fun, you know, like we can be doing anything and, you know, turn any moment into a great time. And we don't really have to try to, like, you know, make things exciting. It just always comes natural to us. And that's one thing I really enjoy about her too.
So Howard Wood is a special place for us because we always grew up coming here, running track meets, and then I did as well in college. And I think one of the things where I knew that Shea was really special was during my last year of track when we were dating. He actually came to every single track meet of mine except for one. And he didn't come to that one because I didn't let him. But I think that just showed me a lot about how much he cared about me, to come across the country and watch me run around the track for less than 60 seconds, and that's all.
Yeah, and sports, you know, they kind of brought us together, because if we wouldn't have both gone to Vermilion and been student athletes, you know, we may have never known who each other were. And so it's a special bond for us. Another thing with Howard Wood is we were back at Alexa's family ranch, and we were watching old home videos, and she's running around the corner down there on the last stretch of a 400-meter race, and as she comes around the corner, you can see myself standing there watching the race, and so it was just cool to see us
back in high school
before we even really knew who each other were in the same environment. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the future, I think right now just get Alexa through med school.
And I've got my eyes on some babies.
She's been working so hard to get through it all, and a lot of hard work, and start a family eventually, and for sure. And then see where we end up, I guess, with med school, and then go from there.
Shea and I are just so fortunate to have had such great family and friends around us and helping support us through everything. Moving and being in medical school and being a young relationship has a lot of ups and downs in it, and so we've been so fortunate to have such wonderful people around us helping us. And especially, like, my mom and dad have done so much to make sure too that we're not just prepared for our wedding day, but really preparing us for a marriage.
Yeah, for a life after marriage. And I think we've, throughout the course of our lives, we've had a lot of people that we could look up to and see what a great marriage is. And, we know the day is about us, and we're excited about that, but we're also excited to celebrate with everyone that's here celebrating our day with us.
Yeah, and helped us get to this point together.